Hello and welcome back everyone. Andy Bryan here again from The Soul Pathway, and today within this video I'm going to be speaking with you all about showing up as your best and preparing your body and soul. As I've personally found with certain different situations and experiences within my life, that I'm looking to show up as my best, and then when I turn up to an event or situation in my life, I'm not actually physically, emotionally, or even spiritually prepared. And I've found that there's some really great tools to support us so that we can become prepared physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I'm really looking forward to sharing those tools and techniques with you today so that you can show up as your best and so that you can be truly prepared in these situations. There are going to be a few tools that I'm going to be sharing with you today, so be sure to jot them down and leave your questions and comments below if you have any. The first tool and technique that I wanted to share with you was something that I learned in hypnotherapy many years ago. And it's all about perspective, but looking from the perspective within our minds. So we need to prepare the scenario within our minds before we actually get there, so that we can align our mind and our bodies. So how do we begin to do that? First of all, I would always recommend you going to a state of meditation to relax, let go and be at ease, so that you can access situations from the unconscious and what it's coming up from within you. And then what I would always advise you to do is to think about the situation at hand, or what you have playing out in your mind, and imagine that scenario in front of you. Imagine yourself sitting down, and then imagine the other person at which you're connecting with on the other side of the table, or even the other few people sat around the table as well. And first of all, from your own perspective, I want you to see the situation through your own eyes, listen to your surroundings and what's going on, really feel those emotions and feelings. Now what you may start to realize, because you feel that state of being unprepared, you may feel that anxiety or lack of preparedness within you. It may be that feeling of overwhelm. It may be many emotions that arise. Now, when you come to those emotions, or they arise from within you, allow yourself to not only feel those emotions, but allow yourself to take that deep breath in through your nose, which I always start with my meditations. Relax and ease into the situation, and allow yourself to just sit there and be focused and be sort of present in the situation and experience. Notice how you go about doing that your surroundings change around you. Notice the people at which you're communicating and engaging with have shifted the way they feel towards you as well. Because often when you have this anxiety, this unprepared emotion, or this overwhelm, that you'll pass the emotions on to other people, which you don't want to do. You want to be in that place of being calm, being relaxed and at peace with yourself. And you'll notice how the others around you are shifting and changing their physiology in the process of you shifting yours. But once you've gone into that emotion yourself and become more present, now instead of looking through your own eyes, I want you to move to the left. Go to the left and imagine seeing the scenario through the other person's eyes. See through their own eyes, hear through their own ears, and feel their feelings. As you connect with some of the thoughts and feelings that they're going through, because you may come to realize that your whole perspective of the situation shifts in an instant. And I find this truly incredible and amazing at times, because we can have certain scenarios run in our mind over and over and over. We can have doubt, we can have anxiety, and we can have, misbelief about, what is happening in our lives. And yet when we shift to the other person's perspective and experience, we start to connect with the thoughts and feelings at which they're going through. And although we may not even know them physically, we can sort of gain some sort of understanding of what it is that they may be experiencing within this situation themselves. So that's a great exercise, but the exercise isn't quite done yet, because the last thing I do with this exercise is, instead of looking through the eyes of yourself and even the other people within this scenario, you can play it out with all the different people if you'd like, then what I'd like for you to do is imagine looking down on the situation as if you're seeing it from a bird's eye view. Because once you see it from that place, you are disconnecting from the emotions and the feelings, whilst at the same time what you're doing is allowing yourself to see the scenario being played out in your mind from a completely different perspective than those other two scenarios. But yet it's exactly the same situation. And what this allows you to do is to become prepared spiritually, emotionally, and even physically. It very much, for me, from my perspective, it brings my mind, my body, and my soul into alignment, because it thinks about your physical thoughts, thinks about your emotions and feelings, and it allows you to unearth what is coming from within your soul as you think about those thoughts and feelings that are coming from within you. So that is a great technique in order for you to become prepared. But that's on a mental level and a soulful level. Great exercise. The other exercise I always love to do is exercise. Exercise is absolutely fantastic. And you don't need to do a lot of exercise, but I like to go for a ride. I ride a push bike and I go out for a ride in nature and I allow myself to connect. And whilst I do that, what I can do is I can clear my mind of all the thoughts, all the emotions and feelings, so that I can become present in myself. So I don't have those doubts that pop up in my mind that take me away from the present, so that I can become present in myself. But at the same time, it allows me to build my confidence. So when I'm riding through nature, I think about being confident, being much more at ease within myself, but feeling my best. Because when you're physically in a good condition, you tend to show up as your best as well. So that is a great exercise. But doing exercise, going for walks in nature, going for a ride, connecting with the earth, connecting with Mother Earth itself, allowing yourself to just let go, but be physical there. Allow that physical presence. And the great thing about doing, physical exertion is it gets our body into a physical state where we start to feel good about ourselves. The endorphins release on a physical level, and we start to be much happier, content within ourselves. And for me, exercise is always fantastic. So once you do an hour worth of riding, let's say, or a half an hour walk in nature, relax, let go, reconnect, and then come back, and then you can be much more at ease, and then you can actually do that exercise to become spiritually and emotionally connected, like the first exercise I shared with you. So you've got to do that exercise. Exercise for me is vital about getting physically prepared, preparing our whole bodies. And then we've got that first exercise for preparing ourselves emotionally. Now, one other thing I'd like to do is think about building my confidence, so I can stand with confidence. As I stand with confidence, I can feel much more present in myself. I can act from a place of integrity, and if I stand and act as if I'm confident, in many ways the anxiety just drifts away, falls away by the wayside, so we don't have those worrying thoughts in our mind. So what can we do to bring our confidence out? And this is something I learned from public speaking many years ago when I did a public speaking course. It's all about grounding and rooting. And if you imagine for a moment standing up, and when you stand up, what I want you to imagine is bringing all your feelings down towards your belly button. And as you feel those feelings down by your belly button, you start to feel more grounded, and your focus goes to that place. And as I said, you get this incredible grounding feeling. You start to feel much more rooted to the ground, and you can feel your legs even planted in that place. And you can even walk like that and even run like that. But you can feel that physical strength as you stand there in your presence, which I think is incredibly amazing and useful about being prepared in the situations and experiences. Because when you show up and you be in that place, it feels amazing. You're not thinking about anything else but about the situation at hand and being confident in that place. And then you can always do, hypnotic meditations to bring the confidence out. I struggled with a lack of self-confidence and self-esteem, and this was one of the things that got me into hypnosis and hypnotherapy in the first place. So I first picked up a Paul McKenna, book, an audio CD, which is all about instant confidence, and those feelings of confidence really helped me in those situations where I felt that anxiety, so that I could let go, so that I can just be myself. And that's what is so important. So I do hope you found that to be valuable and useful. I'll just share those with you, just briefly again. The first one was running the scenario in your mind over and over, but shift it towards a different perspective. But see the perspective of everybody in the situation as that scenario plays out in your mind, because that will allow you to clear any doubt. And then you've got that physical exercise where you go out in nature, you go for a ride, you go for a walk, physically exert yourself, because that brings out those incredible endorphins to make you feel good, bring a smile to your face, and so much more. And finally, the last exercise was just that 1-point exercise where you bring that feeling and energy just below your belly button, so you can become much more planted and rooted to the ground, so that you can walk around in a scenario, and you can let all those anxieties fall by the wayside. So I hope you have found this video to be valuable and useful. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe, where I'll be sharing lots of different tools and techniques to assist you on your spiritual journey as you shift from self to soul. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. With that, I will say bye for now.